killer girlfriend thinks she can manipulate detective, but she can't. This case comes from Red Thread Interrogations, and it says, after a night of arguing with her boyfriend, 30-year-old Bonita Wright woke up at 8:30 a.m. on August 31st, 2022, to find him unresponsive and cold. She immediately ran to her neighbor's house and borrowed their phone to contact 911. Consequently, she was immediately taken into custody and brought in for an interview 1 hour later. But little do officers know, they're about to discover a sick and morbid history between the two, and one that led to tragedy. Okay, I'm curious. This is a pretty long one, so hey, throw me on your TV, throw me up in the background, draw, write, whatever, watch with me, but let's dive into this case.
You just that mad you want to lay there and not say nothing and not tell me what's going on?
This is Bonita Wright, a manipulative girlfriend who just stabbed her own boyfriend to death.
When we both had knives and we fell into the mirror. That's probably when it happened. I do not recall me literally stabbing him.
I'm sorry, that's a crazy phrase. I'm a really honest person, and I don't remember stabbing him.
Something happened in that moment because you're getting there and you want to say it.
After a night of arguing with her boyfriend, Keyron Ficklin, 30-year-old Bonita Wright woke up at 8:30 a.m. on August 31st, 2022, to find him unresponsive and cold. She immediately ran to her neighbor's house and borrowed their phone to contact 911.
Church Lane? Okay, what's going on there?
Me and my boyfriend got into it last night. We was fighting and stuff. The police got called. And then I went upstairs and I just woke up this morning and he's laying by the front door, but he's not moving.
So you do need an ambulance?
Yeah, I need an ambulance.
So he's not moving. Is he breathing? Can you tell?
I like tapped him or whatever, and he was like, you know. So I just want.
Why she do it like that? Damn.
Like to hurry up and get here, cause like I don't know what's going on. I went to sleep last night. He's 28 years old. He's laying by the door. Like we was fighting or whatever. So
all right, ma'am. Let me get ma'am. Let me get an ambulance for you. Don't hang up. I'm gonna come right back to you. Okay, hang on the phone.
Some people's love language is fighting. At least they think that is, right? Like it's probably how they grew up in the home. Some people think that love is bickering and fighting with your partner every day. That's like what they're used to. And look, bitch, I know it's some of y'all. It's some of y'all right here in the chat. It's some of y'all on YouTube, or maybe it's your friend that you see she and her partner are always fighting, but for some reason it seems like they like it. Yeah, for some people it's kind of a love language, and I don't know why. Couldn't be me. It couldn't be me, but I know it's some of you.
For you, don't hang up. I'm going to come right back to you, okay? Hang on the phone.
When officers arrived at the scene, they found Keyron in a pool of blood right next to the front door. He had been brutally stabbed, but something was strange. Keyron had already passed away. His body seemed like it had been there for hours. The only possible suspect was Bonita herself, who not only showed no emotions while on the phone to 911, but was covered in scratches and bleeding from her nails and shoulder. It was clear that she had been part of a violent physical altercation. Consequently, she was immediately taken into custody and brought in for an interview 1 hour later.
You know my mom don't care about me. My dad don't care about me. You know this. You know everything.
You know that nobody cares about me. So you need to care about me. Guys, this might be a tough watch. Also, sorry, I'm trying to figure out where to put myself. Sherilyn said she's got a deck full of victim cards. Yes, she does. Did you guys know that you can get brand new BOZE vs. the World merchandise? We got, of course, the old hoodie with the BOZE vs. the World hoodie. Dude, this is just such a banger design. We got to re-release that as a t-shirt because that t-shirt genuinely looks so good. Like whenever I see people at conventions wearing that merch or just anywhere, it looks so good. The Nightmare Complex, that's just a little specialty for you, like a little funsy one, you know? And then also we have a Sinister hoodie. I just always thought merch was just like a big cash grab, but it's fun to make the designs, you know? I'm just bad at promoting it. Hoodies, t-shirts, and guess what? The blankets are coming soon. Just go to bozevstheworld.net. It was someone who said link in bio.
So, I want to get you out of here as soon as possible.
She
okay?
take her break now. Wait a minute. Why? She just got stressed and it unhooked him? Damn.
So,
I want to talk to you about everything that's going on, okay?
Yes.
But before I do that, I have to read you your rights. That does not mean that you're...
Wait, also, I usually talk a lot through the videos. Can we just watch today? I would watch this on the couch, so I'm just taking you with me, okay?
I know how the law works. If they're determined that I did something, that's what it's going to be. But I know I didn't do nothing to harm my fiance. I just wish he would have said something.
He is dead and she's still blaming him. I wish he would have said something, then I wouldn't have killed him.
Walk me through what happened last night. I know that we were called last night for something.
What the detective is talking about here is a domestic violence complaint they received the night before Keyron was discovered dead. According to officers at the scenes, Bonita and Keyron were involved in a heated argument, both demanding the other one to leave the house. However, neither had physically hurt the other or done anything illegal, and officers left soon after as they had no legal grounds to intervene at the time. Just a few hours later, Keyron was dead. Whatever transpired after the officers left is the reason Keyron was stabbed, and this is something that detectives desperately need to figure out, as this entire case relies upon finding out what happened in these few hours.
Somebody told me he was cheating on me. So I let it be that. I said what I said. So we was not talking the whole day because he was upset about me saying that he was cheating on me. And I went to my sister's house. I was drinking. My neighbor came over. We was all taking shots. And when I got home, I don't even remember coming home. But I know we had to have words because...
Was he there already?
Yes, he was already there.
Does he have a key?
I gave him. I dropped the key off to his friend's house. He went to his friend's house earlier yesterday. So I drove to his friend's house and I dropped the key off to him.
Any evidence on him cheating? I didn't know, but I mean, she murdered him, so I don't. Even if he did, I don't really care if he cheated.
We had to have words because it went from his stuff being where it was to his stuff being in his suitcases.
Okay, like he was packing to leave.
Yeah, or either I was packing his stuff to leave, and then the police got called. So when I was trying to talk to them, he was telling them like, yeah, take her to jail. She doing this, she doing that. She belligerent or whatever because I was drinking. So I closed the door. I'm like, I'm not going nowhere because I live here. I pay bills here. Like, you my boyfriend. Yes, you my boyfriend, and I asked you to be, in my household or whatever. So that was that.
Did you actually talk to the officers last night?
Yeah, I remember talking to them. I had a few words with them, but like I said, I was drinking, so I wasn't trying to talk to nobody. I don't know. It just went blank, like.
So it went blank.
It sounds like she got a little triggered and blacked out, combined with the alcohol. I don't know who needs to hear this, but some of y'all shouldn't drink. And you know it too.
He kept saying, oh, you want to throw my shit out? I'm about to break everything in your house. And I was trying to fight, stop him from breaking everything. No, you weren't. So we got into an altercation. That's how the table broke, then the glass broke. And,
the mirror, maybe?
The mirror or whatever. And
the table, the mirror broke? So this is an all-out brawl.
I don't know if he grabbed the knife first and if I took it from him, but
probably you.
I just know that I'm a woman and you a man. And you're not about to do that to me.
What was it? You said it was physical. Was he like pushing you?
Yeah, I know my lip is swollen. When this started, my lip is swollen.
You got a big cut out.
And then my cut and stuff like that. And it's just like, okay, I'm going to defend myself, period.
Sure.
That's what it's going to be. I remember him getting the first aid kits and like, babe, just bandage yourself up. You bleeding everywhere, this, that. And I went upstairs and I went to bed.
So he actually got you with the knife?
Supposedly.
So if anyone was really listening or like question, okay, let me pay attention to what she's saying. Supposedly, she's saying supposedly I got stabbed, and he said, "Clean yourself up." No, I think she stabbed him, and she threw the first aid kit at him and told him to clean himself up, and then she went upstairs and went to bed, just like Sarah Boone.
Do you remember that?
I remember him going, and grabbing a knife. I remember that. And
what did the knife look like? Do you remember?
I got several knives.
It's interesting that she says, I remember him going to grab the knife. And then she said, I have several knives. To me, I remember him going to grab the knife. I don't know if she remembered a moment where he grabbed the knife. I think she remembered the moment that she grabbed the knife. That's just what I think.
It was
a sword,
a steak knife.
a steak knife.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I remember.
Yeah, the wording is kinda like
me grabbing
odd.
another one and trying to like. But he's a man. He's gonna overpower me.
Although Bonita claims much of the fight happened in self-defense, there is one glaring issue. During her arrest and ride to the police station, Bonita continuously claimed that Keyron had self-harm tendencies and stabbed himself with the knife. Considering his injuries, this was impossible. Keyron had a 4-inch stab wound in a downward direction, consistent with an overhand strike that can only be inflicted by an attacker. Additionally, the dimensions of the wound matched perfectly with the steak knife Bonita had during the altercation. But keep in mind that the detective does not know this yet, as Keyron's body is still being processed. Bonita likely realized later on that this initial story could be disproven easily and switched to claiming self-defense right before this interview. However, this is only one of the many inconsistencies that present itself because as the detective questions her further, her entire story from this night begins to fall apart.
So last night, you get word that he's cheating on you, potentially.
That was weeks ago.
Okay. But last night, did you catch him with somebody else?
No, it wasn't. That's what I'm saying. That was stemmed from a couple days ago.
So it kind of just
like day
boiled
before
over.
Yesterday. Yeah, it boiled over. Like he was still mad about it.
So you go over to your sister's, you're drinking, you come home, he's there. Well, you drop the key off to his buddy. You guys get to arguing, the police get called. Obviously, there's nothing we can do. We can't kick him out. You're not going to leave it to your house. After that, you guys it gets physical. At some point, he grabs a knife, you grab a knife, you guys get to tussling or whatever, it's fighting. You fall a couple times in the living room, on the mirror, the table breaks. Now, does he purposely break your stuff at any point?
Yeah, like for the table, he grabbed it.
Is it a glass table?
Yeah.
Okay.
And was like, his whole thing was, like I said before, you keep throwing my shit outside, I'm about to break everything in your house. Like, so the couch is up because now at that point, I'm just trying to toss all my stuff to the side so he won't break it.
Do you guys believe that he's breaking everything and threatening her and she's just trying to keep him from breaking things and trying to not get hurt? And I think it's a very mutually toxic relationship, but you know, we're here because of what she did the night before.
Do you ever feel him stab you?
I mean, I at the moment when your adrenaline rush,
It is so strange that she keeps trying to say that she got stabbed. Maybe I got stabbed. I'm so sorry. Who the is dumb enough to tell police officers that are in the beginning of an investigation, I think I got stabbed last night? Maybe. You can't prove that I didn't.
So after you guys are done fighting, he says you're bleeding, let me bandage you up.
Yeah,
So
he went and got the first aid kit and he was like, babe, let me bandage you up. He and I'm fighting. I'm like, no, get the off
Is
me,
he
don't
bleeding
touch
at
me.
this point?
No, I didn't see no
his shirt or
blood,
anything
nothing.
like that?
I did not see nothing at all.
So he bandages you up, you go upstairs and go to sleep?
Yeah.
But before he bandaged you up, you said you were.
Where's the
still
bandage?
fighting.
This was last night.
Yeah, I was still, I'm like, just leave me alone, whatever, don't touch me. He like, babe, stop.
Did either one of you still have the knife at that
No.
point?
How did the knife end up outside?
I don't even know.
There's a black steak knife with blood on it outside the house. How did that get there?
I don't know.
So he bandages you up, you go upstairs, go to sleep, you wake up this morning and you find him then. And
Yeah.
he's bleeding, cold to the touch. And then
Yeah.
you go to your neighbor's house, Jamal, call 911.
Because I'm panicking so much, like I couldn't even find a charger.
Did you say anything to the 911 dispatchers?
Yeah, I was like, my boyfriend is laying here, and they was like, oh, can you turn him on his back or something? They was asking me questions, and I'm just like, I was telling them whatever I told them, and I was just telling them like, can just get somebody here because I don't know. I hear him.
What does this mean?
Yeah.
What is she even
but
saying?
It wasn't just one.
Chat, what is she saying? I hear him, but what?
It was several.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, he can be, somebody needs to get here.
Do you now, after you call 911, you go back to the house?
Yes, I was at the house.
When you found him this morning, how was he laying?
Just regular, like he was by the shoes and he was laying like this.
On his side?
Yeah, on the side or whatever. He was just like he was sleeping.
Like hand tucked in his arm?
Yeah.
An autopsy of Keyron's body after this interview placed his time of death to be 12:30 a.m. It is not possible that he survived into the morning to be able to exhibit any signs of life like the one Bonita mentions. The most unfortunate aspect of this incident is that Keyron had a chance to survive. Although being stabbed in the heart is highly lethal, all Bonita had to do was call 911, who would have provided emergency care. Yet she chose to be selfish and let him lie there until the morning. Even worse is the fact that she is even trying to lie her way out of this interrogation room, which is why this next conversation is so heartbreaking.
One thing I think is interesting here is the cops have to know that this stabbing thing or this wound thing from her is bullshit. But in my opinion, they can't really call her out right here because she'll get defensive. They're kind of letting her get comfortable, play into their hand a little bit, see how many lies she wants to spin out. If they start calling her out too soon, then she'll clam up pretty much.
We both know there was a fight. We both know
He's
you
obviously
had
bigger
knives.
than you, stronger than you.
We both know you had knives. We just need to pinpoint exactly when he got the wound on his side that ultimately,
I mean, it probably
caused
happened
you
when
this thing here.
we both had knives.
Bitch,
and we
are
started-
you telling me both of y'all was in the kitchen, steak knives out, like, ha, ha, ha. No, you had a knife. You had a knife.
to the mirror? That's probably when it happened.
Did he say anything?
No, he didn't say nothing.
It's an
He didn't say,
insane
"Oh,
story.
you stabbed me," or
Oh,
"I'm
he-
cut," or he didn't say nothing.
Oh, it's his fault because I'm so sorry. He didn't tell her that he got stabbed. Well, honey, why didn't you tell me that I stabbed you? Why wouldn't you tell me that? Man, this bitch straight to hell. That's crazy. How is there another hour?
What makes you think that happened when you guys fell into the mirror? Just off the top of your head.
Just because it was just a lot. It was a lot. I was tumbling over the pillows. He was falling on me.
And at that time, you both had knives in your hands.
Yes.
What is this, Kill Bill? Come on, dude.
Is there a chance that you stabbed him to get him off of you?
No.
To get him away from you?
They're
to
trying
kinda,
to
like,
feed her another
de-escalate
story.
this and, like, protect yourself at some point? Or, I mean...
If I'm going to say this, if I felt that way in that altercation, then that's what happened.
If I felt that way, then that's what happened. You're not saying anything. You are not saying anything of substance that connects to what the person just said before this and afterwards. They are buying time. That is one of the most useless statements I have ever heard come out of somebody's mouth before, ever.
If there was a time where I was trying to get him off of me, then that possibly happened. Because we've been here before. If you check our records, he's been in jail for putting his
He's
hands
been
on
in
people.
jail. Yeah. What do I always say? The killer always throws the victim under the bus. Always. They can't help it. They cannot help. Their hands are supercharged to throw their victim under the bus, even in death. They can't help it.
Did it possibly happen or did it happen? Because this is things that we
Damn,
need
I
to
didn't think
know,
I was
right?
going to be
These
mad over this
timelines.
video.
I know for sure I didn't just bluntly stab him. Okay? I know I had the
I know
knife
for sure.
protection,
Okay. Okay.
but I did not bluntly just.
I'm going to keep saying this until you believe me or at least you stop asking me about it. She reiterates it twice and then reaffirms with the, okay, do you have it? Are you going to stop asking me this now?
So at some point you're tussling, do you ever feel that knife go in him? Or feel like any pressure on that knife? I mean, because you're going to remember that, whether you're drunk or not, you're going to remember that something like that happening. That's not something that you don't remember. You know, like I remember being drunk, getting in bar fights, or getting into a fight and get punched in the face, and you know, you remember that no matter how drunk you are.
I'm trying to.
Think about it hard.
I am.
Bonita mentions something interesting in this conversation: Keyron's jail time. While it is
course.
true that in February of 2022, Keyron was arrested for domestic battery, the charges were dropped as Bonita failed to appear in court. Interestingly, officers at the scene also reported that Keyron had sustained far more injuries than Bonita had. So if she really was in an abusive relationship,
Makes me want to cry. Why did he go in that night then? To me, it sounds like they got into a fight. Both of them assaulted each other, but the police noted he had more injuries than her, but for some reason, he was the one taken in that night and then she wanted to press charges. The other person has to want to press charges. So she must have told the police, I want to press charges. So he spends the night in jail. And then, you know what? I bet you she probably bailed him out the next day, or maybe left him in there for a little bit. And then when it's time for his trial, she didn't show up because it's like a power move of like, I can put you in jail. I can send you to court. But you know what? I can end this too. That's crazy. So the officers have built their rapport, and now we're going to start to see them dig around her stories, and we'll probably get a big push somewhere towards the end.
You will see this facade break down catastrophically as officers begin to confront her with the absurdity of her story.
This is no judgment, okay? This doesn't make you a bad person for whatever happened, all right? I don't want you to think that this is something that him and I
I'm just trying to get to the point where that happened.
I'm just trying to get to the point.
Because I know he jumped on me.
That's another tactic too. Acting like they're working with you. Say, I'm just trying to get to the point. I'm just trying to get to the same point that you are. No, you're not. You're actually trying to divert me away from what happened.
You're getting there.
I know
you're walking us through it.
Yeah,
right
I know
there.
he jumped on me, and
Now, where are you at when he jumps on you?
I was by the stove.
She's trying to change the
The
story.
knife was still in your hand because you were throwing stuff out.
Yeah.
Still, right?
I just know that I wasn't about to be beat up and bleed
There it is.
or like
Did it happen?
it had to, because I was, after that point it was like, okay, now you want to fight me.
When you walked in the kitchen to get the bags, where was he standing?
He was still by the door. He was by the
So
door.
he was by the door right where we found him this morning, right?
Yeah, right there, but he was alive or whatever,
Yeah,
standing
yeah.
up. And
He was alive or
But when
whatever.
you came around
Oh
that
my
corner, when
God.
you were walking past that stove, he was standing by the door. What happened in that moment? Something happened in that moment, because you're getting there. You want to say it, but I feel like you think.
I'm trying to use the exact. I'm trying to give you the exact action.
Yeah, and that's what we need. So explain it, because
I
you're
think this
there
happened in the kitchen too. The blood splatter
Well, that's where we're at right now.
makes it
Yeah.
make me believe that it didn't happen anywhere else but the kitchen.
I don't know if he like jumped on me or I don't know, but we was tussling in that kitchen.
I don't know which version you guys are going to believe, so I don't know what to go with.
Listen, you've been beat up before, right? He's beat your before, right?
He's trying to come through.
Several men
So
just
you were-
beat my before.
Listen, so you were fed up.
Yes.
That's understandable. Okay? Some shit happened beforehand. He's standing by the door. You have a knife in your hand. You already know he's fired up. You've already been into it. You're probably bleeding at this point. You're done.
Yeah, I think you had enough. Because whatever happened right there. And I think you just had enough of it. I think
No, it
things
wasn't
boiled
that I
over.
had enough, like, because I don't, like, I'm not gonna just
Not enough.
stab him
No.
and be like, oh,
Yeah.
like, no.
She actually has to be one of the worst liars that I've ever seen. Partially because she won't commit to a lie. She keeps throwing out, is this going, vague, talking in circles. Honestly, at this point, I'm like, commit to some bullshit. Like, say, oh yeah, the stab wound was on my leg, or this. She won't even say where they were.
Like,
She's the
even
worst
within
liar
that
I've ever seen.
altercation,
Whatever happened in that kitchen. Wherever he's lying is probably where this happened at. Because whatever happened was pretty traumatic. So
I don't think it happened and then he bandaged you up and then you went upstairs and he laid down. I think whatever happened there, I don't think he left the kitchen.
No.
I don't think he ever left that spot by the door.
Yeah.
It happened right
Here's
there.
the push. We're
And
calling her
what
out.
we need is just you to kind of walk us through. You're right there. You're right there. And
Normally, when they do a push, so this isn't even a full push. This is like a, let's see what happens when she pushes back, because we want her to concoct a new story so that when you go to trial, you have 4 different lies that she told in the interrogation room in the first hour. But after they do this little tap, you might see them pull back a little bit and then come in again for another push.
I said, you, he was like, whatever, this is that. I remember hearing his voice before I went upstairs.
when you went upstairs, did he lay down? Was he on the ground when you went upstairs?
No,
where was he?
he was just downstairs
Where at?
in the living room.
There's no blood. That's the problem. Like, there was no trail of blood from the kitchen to the living room back to the kitchen again.
Didn't Sarah Boone also not have a story?
Right, but that's the whole thing. It happened at like 1 or 2 in the morning. It's what time did I call y'all?
He died at 12:30.
Right. So, I mean, I watch a lot of shows and a lot of shit. Like, it wasn't a lot of blood.
She's trying to say she watches a lot of true crime shows?
Deceased right there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Still talking to you, but we're trying to fill in.
What was that? She said I watch a lot of shows and there wasn't a lot of blood. What?
We're trying to fill in the blanks because there's a blank. You've told the story, and the last time you told the story was perfect. That was spot on. We were right there. Then we get to that point where something happened that we skip over every time.
No, we're not skipping over nothing. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
No, I know. I'm trying to get you to remember so it makes sense, because there's a point to where he was stabbed, and we're missing that. I think you know when it happened. It's just, I think you're just worried about.
I'm not worried about nothing. I'm a very honest person. I do not recall me literally stabbing him. I don't recall me just.
We're not saying you did it intentionally. Like I said, I was trying to explain. You've been in situations before. You've gotten your beat. People just. Sometimes you just can't take it anymore.
From when we going from getting them bags and then about to go get his stuff, it had to happen right then and there.
It had to happen. Can't commit to a statement.
You know, I probably, because I'm still a little bit drunk, so probably when I sober up, it'll, come back to me. But I just remember Keyron was very aggressive, and I just wasn't about to get my
It's understandable.
Dude, there's something really powerful and really beautiful about that type of energy of, you're not going to get me. You're not going to do this to me. And there's a lot of adrenaline and energy that comes from that when we decide that in our brain. But that is something that you need when you are locked in a trunk of a serial killer and you've decided, I'm not going down like this. That's that energy. She has this energy in her relationship every other day that you're not going to do this to me. It's not helpful. It's not helpful.
Bonita refuses to elaborate exactly how and where Keyron got stabbed, but what she doesn't know is she has left behind a piece of evidence so important that it would play the biggest role in sealing her fate.
Hey, real quick, you said that your camera can be accessed from your phone. Is that right? You're just not really familiar how to do it. This is another consent form. It's for your phone. All right. So I'll have you read over this. And then this one is going to be for the actual DVR system that's in your house.
Security in the house, audio and all.
Because that's going to help. I think that's going to help you quite a bit.
The officer just took consent to search her house camera and mobile phone. However, the password Bonita provided to her phone was wrong, probably because she knows the kind of horrors it hides. Sometime after this interview, investigators finally cracked her devices and found text and voice messages that not only showed her verbally attacking Keyron, but also threatening his life.
There we go. There we go. She had previously threatened his life before. Caught. It's also hilarious to me that she signed the consent form for them to go through the phone, but she thought that she was smart enough to give them the wrong passcode. And then we'll just go from there. Nope, you signed the form, and now we're gonna get into your phone.
Bonita made several racial remarks towards Keyron. She would also constantly berate and belittle him by questioning his masculinity, often referring to him as a young man and asking him to be manlier and more muscular. In one instance, she threw a string of curses at Keyron for failing a job interview and even stated, "Don't be surprised if a beating comes for your ass out of the blue."
Yo!
To make matters worse, several of Keyron's friends testified that he often had to ask Bonita to be able to meet them. These same friends also repeatedly said that Keyron was incredibly loyal to her and would never cheat.
Wow.
Unfortunately, these detectives are unaware of this, but are incredibly suspicious after she provided the wrong password. Now, for one last time, they will sit her down to get a confession out of her, but they do not realize that Bonita is about to put on her best act yet.
Her calling him racial slurs is crazy. It's crazy. It's I'm going to take something that hurt me and I'm going to do it to a person that I'm supposed to love. Man, I grew up in the South and I've had some people say some mean shit to me. I cannot believe, I cannot imagine racially throwing that back at somebody. No, oh my God, that is mind-blowing to me. It's mind-blowing.
Hearing you talk today, you're not a bad person by any means. I want you to know that, okay?
Trapper. Remember, I said they were going to pull back. They're going to pull back.
Nothing you've said to us today has made it come off as you're this evil person or anything like that, okay? But so the whole initial fight started because you just got home a couple minutes late and he got pissed off about that. So you guys are verbally arguing at this point? Does it become physical? Yet? And then you call the police to have him removed. And nothing physical happened, right? Until after the police left.
No, that's why the police got called, because I felt as though it was about to get physical.
Okay.
And like I said, I was drunk. I don't recall anything. It probably was some shoving and pushing before the police got called, but
nothing out of the ordinary.
Nothing out of the ordinary.
Okay. And then you call the police, we show up. Obviously, things probably got a little bit heated because you wanted him out. Nothing we can do. And were you agitated at that point?
Yeah, I kept closing the door and trying to lock the door, but he had the key around his neck.
So he just kept coming back in.
So he kept coming back in.
He had the key around his neck?
I snatched the key thing or whatever, but by that time, he was already in, and then the door closed. Closed the door and locked it. But the police are still outside.
Okay.
And then they just left.
So now you guys are both inside.
Yeah.
You have your key back door, right?
Well, supposedly it's somewhere. It was around his neck.
Okay. So you guys are fighting with each other, then you grab a knife?
I go towards this thing or whatever, and like, that's the knife that don't have no handle on it. I didn't have shit. Mm-hmm. It was gone. That was that. Then he was like, oh, you want to try to grab a knife? I'm going to get one too. And he grabbed a knife.
Just sounds like horse shit to me.
Oh, shit.
And then what? She doesn't know what to say next. She doesn't know.
Where are you at in the house?
She just didn't know what to say.
We in the kitchen, and like I told you,
because he didn't grab the knife.
Just throwing the shit out. So that's the knife with no handle. So I'm just throwing this shit out. In the midst of me throwing his shit out, he like, I'm gonna up your shit. So that's how the table got broke and stuff like that. So when I I go back in to, prevent him from up my shit. That's how the mirror got by the stairs, because I moved the mirror.
Okay, that makes more sense, because I was wondering why that was over there.
Yeah, I moved because it was on the wall when you first walk into the living room. It was up against this wall.
Okay.
I moved the mirror over there.
Okay.
And then I put the couch up. That's why the shit is on the floor, because I'm throwing it, and I put the couch up or whatever.
What happens after that? Walk me through that.
That's when like I told you before, we was in the kitchen.
Are you guys face to face?
Yeah.
Arguing?
And you still had the knife?
Yeah.
Okay. What hand was the knife in?
I'm right-handed.
Okay.
So it was in my right hand.
Bonita is inconsistent in her narrative yet again. For example, at some points, she claims Keyron grabbed the knife first, and at others, she grabbed it first. Even after the consistent questioning, Bonita never explicitly admits she stabbed Keyron. It's always just a possibility. She has yet again skipped the details of the stabbing.
And then we get into it again or whatever. Now by this time, we back outside, because this stuff is outside. And I do recall me because like I told you, I'm not no stabbing type of person, but
she's an overhead stabber, just like it showed up in the autopsy.
Get the fuck away from me, get back, this, that. But he didn't care. He said, Katie, coming for me or whatever. So I'm just trying to remember everything.
So he's facing you.
Reminder, while she's trying to claim self-defense here and saying that she was telling him to get away with the knife, get away, they found voice memos and texts on her phone where she was threatening to kill him and calling him racial slurs. Sorry, I'm just not letting that slide. I'm not letting that one slide.
So he's facing you at this point, right?
Yeah.
You've got the knife in your right hand.
Yes. And I'm like, get back, I'm like, don't, I'm just trying to keep him away from me. But
Wait, now what knife is this? What kind of knife?
I think it was a knife with a black handle.
Okay. So what happens next?
And this was outside, right, where the knife was found?
Yeah, I guess that was the night that was outside.
Where you're at in your story.
Yeah.
Kitchen
both
duel.
outside.
Yeah,
This
we
is
went
a crazy
outside
story.
and I was able to knife, but then I'm going back into the house.
It's also funny to me that she and Sarah Boone have these almost childlike stories. Like Sarah's like, we were coloring and we were playing hide and seek and we were having such a nice time. And then her version of events is fucking Star Wars where they both pulled out a knife and they were dueling in the kitchen. Like, this is shit that like a 10-year-old thinks of. It's crazy. Like no one would believe that.
Outside and I was able to knife, but then I'm going back into the house. Because in the midst of me arguing and shit, I still don't, that was my whole thing with him. Like, don't embarrass me. We don't need to be outside and everybody can hear us. So I was going back into the house. And then, like I said, like, the last thing I remember, he was not injured. It was nothing, and I just...
Well, what happens when you get back into the house? Walk us through that. So you get back in the house, so he comes in the house.
Yeah. And the screen doors propped open and stuff, and like I said, we was just fighting. We just kept fighting the whole night.
Knife still in your hand. Does he have his knife in his hand too?
Yes.
So you guys are both still holding knives.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And at some point, I didn't have a knife no more. Because when I went upstairs, like once the altercation was done and he was trying to bandage me, I didn't have nothing.
So how did this altercation come to an end? Like, how did this all stop?
Like I said, I remember he was looking for my keys because he kept saying he was about to go. I hid my keys and I went upstairs.
When does he try to bandage you up?
Before then. At this time, when he's trying to bandage me up, the glass is already broken. I mean, the mirror is broken, the table is broken, all of this furniture and all of that stuff is already up. That's what I was saying, like, maybe it was just his adrenaline or something like that, because my last words with him was not in the kitchen, and then I just went upstairs. He was still talking to me. He, said words, and that
what was
was
he
that.
saying exactly to you when
He
you were
was just
walking
saying,
upstairs?
When I went upstairs or whatever, I was saying, like, F you, I don't care, whatever, this is that, I'm done, and I'm gonna drop you off to your mom's house. And he was saying whatever he was saying. I wasn't trying to listen because that was my...
He wasn't saying anything. He had been stabbed and he was left by the door.
Was this like every other fight you guys have ever had?
I mean, to this point of stuff being broken, we've never got there. But it's a hole in my wall from him, punching a hole in the wall. And like I said, I got videos in my phone of him.
I bet there's a lot of videos on that phone.
Has there already been weapons involved in any of your fights at all?
Yes.
Like knives? So there's been knives.
It's been knives before. Like, I'll grab the knife and I'm like, don't come at me or whatever, this is that. And with the DV charge or whatever, like, he was in my face and I was just going like this. And it poked him in his face 2 times. So
it poked
he was
him
like,
I was just going like this, and it poked him in the face 2 times. Same energy. Yes, he fell on the knife. Oh my God, he fell on the gun. Why am I still going with this one? I want to see them push her.
This is what we've been working for this whole time here. Okay, I need to know how he got that injury.
It got to a point where I was defending myself,
and I'm okay with it. I'm alright with that. But I need to know how that injury happened. Okay, I need to know how he got that injury.
We were fighting, that's what I'm saying. Like, and I had a knife in my hand. I probably went like this, or I went, this, or I went like that, but like did this too. Mm-hmm. But I was just defending myself. I was trying to back him up off of me.
That's the story she came into this room with. He's a man, and I was defending myself. And that's what she was repeating all through the beginning. She thought that this was going to be nice and easy, and that would be it. Also, isn't it terrifying that if her plan really was to walk in here, claim self-defense, and get away scot-free, I don't know if she would ever even think about him again. Like, she would do that to him, kill him, blame him, and then never think about it again because it's a little too painful for her, and then she would go on to do it to the next partner because nothing has changed.
When did that happen?
We had to be in the kitchen.
We had to be in the kitchen.
We had to be in the kitchen, in the midst of kitchen, outside. Like, we had to be in that.
Not we were in the kitchen. Not we were in the kitchen. We had to be in the kitchen. Well, it had to have happened like this. Well, we must have done this. Oh, fuck you. Fuck you.
So is that what ended it?
No, because after we got into that, I remember going upstairs and he was still talking to me. Okay. It wasn't like that happened and, he dropped and I'm like, all right, I'm going upstairs. No, he was still talking to me.
So that makes sense to me because you're right-handed and his injury's on his left side. And if you guys are face-to-face, that makes sense of how he received that. So I appreciate you telling me that because that makes a lot more sense than I don't know how that happened. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense to me. He and I haven't been to your house except for when we got you back here, so we don't know what's going on.
Exactly.
So I'm asking because I don't know.
Yeah.
Did you call anybody after?
No.
When you went upstairs?
No.
Do you know if he called anybody?
I don't know.
Don't know.
Bonita has still not revealed the details and the interrogation comes to a standstill. But this is when officers receive a crucial piece of evidence.
Oh God.
One that will make Bonita realize she just wasted 2 hours of her life lying in vain.
Come on. Are we ready? What is it?
Received some information. All right. So, everything you told me before, all right, I believe you for the most part.
Okay.
The only thing I'm having a hard time with is I just found out that he's got a wound right here, not in his side.
Right there?
It's in the top of his chest. All right. So that wound in the side is not there. I was wrong. Okay. It's in his chest. So let's figure out how that happened. All right.
Well, that goes to the point, when I was saying I was just doing anything with the knife, to get him back from me.
So it actually went into him at some point. It had to.
Okay. Well, I don't recall it, But like I said, I can actually say this in court. I was doing this and this to get
ready
him
to go.
away from me.
So at some point, you're face to face, and you're going like this. And at some point, you stab him in the chest, just flailing around, right? So basically what you're telling me is you're swinging the knife around. You didn't intend to stab him.
No.
But it happened.
I mean, because if that was the whole intention, like if you're going to keep coming close to me and harming me, you're going to get stabbed because I have a knife. And I'm clearly got it in my hand and I'm doing this. Like, why would you keep,
It's funny that she actually, right there, she actually does the pose that she did when she stabbed him because they said it came from the top. She actually is up here, but then when she comes back to the story, she comes back down here. If you're not familiar with what they mean about the angle coming in after the autopsy is like, imagine like a foam ball or something like that, okay? If you were to stab that straight on, it's just gonna create a perfect slit, right? But if you were to come at it from a top level angle, it's going to come in at like a degreed angle. So they can literally see the positioning in which the person came down with the knife and how he was stabbed. And it doesn't match up to her story at all.
The other thing that I want to talk about too is after he gets hit in the chest, right? He's not going to be up for very long after that, all right? After hitting one in the chest, you're going to be very long. You're going to hit the ground pretty quick. And he has no blood on his underwear, meaning that once he was hit, he fell fairly quick, all right? So tell me what happened after that happened. I know you're telling me he bandaged you up, but
that's what I'm saying, like...
Something else...
Literally, if I would have seen my fiance hit the ground after me and him having an altercation, it's not much for me to get in the car and go 7 minutes around the corner. He did not hit no ground. He did not do that. Like, he was still trying to get his stuff back in the house and everything.
He did not hit. In the kitchen or outside?
He was in the kitchen when I woke up, so it had to happen.
Where you stabbed him, was it in the kitchen or was it outside?
Sir, we was fighting from outside to the kitchen to the living room. I don't recall where it happened.
Okay.
But when I went to sleep, Keyron Ficklin was still up.
When things got bad, they got bad, huh?
She didn't want to be a killer. Some people.
I met him. He was going through that stuff with that girl. I had him happen on my spiritual journey. If they walking around my house, they gonna see my stones and my candles and stuff. I was not no yelling, argumentative type of person.
Yes, you were. You always have been.
He definitely brought that out of me, but it was to a point where I could just be like, okay.
Don't date people that trigger you. If you are with somebody and you guys are constantly triggering each other, you probably picked each other because you're trying to redo the past, okay? You got some unfinished business with some narcissistic trait, you catch it in a new person, and you're like, well, let's do this again and see if I can finally figure out the puzzle, okay? Fucking stop, man. If the two of you trigger each other, separate and go figure out what fucking happened some other way, okay? Or explore it for a couple months and then break up. Y'all don't need to keep going till you hit a wall, my dude.
Well, I'm sorry that this happened.
Yeah, she did it. I think she's realizing that she did it.
At some point is I'm going to have a female officer take photographs of your injuries too. Okay?
I mean, we've been looking at a monster for the past hour, but to be frank, this part kind of bums me out because she didn't want to be a killer. It sounds like she was just doing whatever her brain and body were drawn to. And sometimes our brain and body are drawn to very toxic things. It happens.
None of us are here judging. We don't think you're a bad person.
That's not what I do. Like, I got into altercations with plenty of, I've broke a guy's arm before, you know?
What?
Like,
what?
Don't think you're
what?
Situation, like
that thing before about I've never done this before. Why does he bring this out of me? Bitch, shut up, man. You broke somebody's arm. She's the type of person where she'll pick a fight with somebody, or maybe they just get into some kind of fight. You could just be around the wrong people sometimes. They always bicker and whatnot. And then they get into something and she hits them and then breaks an arm. Her mentality when she leaves that is, that's right, and don't ever me again. And she walks away remorseless. And then she did not learn anything from this. And this is where we are now. And now her boyfriend, not calling it her fiance, he is dead. The minute you fucking broke somebody's arm, you should have known that you were capable of this.
I broke a guy's arm before, you know? Like, I defend myself, you know? And it was not like I just, you know, had a knife and was like, like I'm just like, back up. Just back up. Don't hurt me. Just back up.
Bear with us in this next couple minutes and we'll try to make this as fast as possible.
Yeah, because I'm going to jail.
I didn't say that.
You are.
He was jumping on me, so I grabbed the crowbar and I hit him with the arm.
The monologue.
I don't understand this. I really don't understand
I don't
this.
understand
I don't
the
understand.
consequences of my actions.
I don't understand. I don't understand. I'm not understanding this. I really am not.
Not only did she just get caught as the murderer, officers just received information on another clue that clearly meant Bonita was trying to hide the evidence.
What?
Really quick, while our evidence guys were processing, they found a wet and bloody mop. How did that get there?
Oh!
The mop and all that stuff is right by the door. I hang everything right there.
The mop was in the kitchen, or in the living room. So how did that get there?
I didn't grab the mop.
Oh my
gosh.
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. When I went upstairs, I don't know if he like tried to clean up for me bleeding everywhere or something like that. But I never grabbed the mop. I never tried to clean up.
Nothing?
The stuff, no.
Because it was wet too. So that's what we're trying to figure out. Like, if you were just panicking trying to clean up.
No. When I woke up, I went downstairs and I seen him, and I looked out the door. His 2 suitcases was outside. So I went outside and I got those. I didn't bother him or anything, because even when he sleeps normally, I would lift his arm up and he would not get up.
Talking in circles again. We're asking about the mop, sister.
And then that was that. I didn't even see the mop.
Fire right in here.
What's that?
There's a gun in here.
Nuh-uh.
Yep.
Oh, that's it. Copper.
I don't know.
He said cupper. He said dude, he said that like in a movie. He said cupper. Holy shit.
Oh, I swear to God.
Lock her up and throw away the key.